Well, glad that didn't take too long. Hey, Wolf, the pods are prepped.
Cool.
I wonder if I should warn anyone about one of the pods not being filled up fully. I'll bring it up later. Anyways, I guess it's time to head back into reviewing Halo Legends.
By the way, Wolf, you're gonna clear Halo Legends while the two of us try to figure out what to review next.
What? Why?
Blame copyright.
Let's just get started. Heading back into Halo Legends, thankfully, is a lot easier than the other two have it, as Halo Legends has absolutely no continuity whatsoever. It's a complete anthology movie of stories that can take place at any time, so you don't have to worry about what happened between sections. So, let's head back into a more serious story of Halo Legends, Prototype. This one was directed by Yasujiro, who, I'm not sure if I have the correct one with this info dump coming up, because Google calls him an animator and credits him for only 2 things, but Anime News Network gives him a lot more stuff, saying he's worked on stuff like Ghost in the Shell movie, Cowboy Bebop the movie, Code Geass, Lelouch the Rebellion, Lupin III, Island of Assassins, Mobile Suit Gundam AGE, Iron-Blooded Orphans, and Zeta Gundam A New Translation, as well as Neon Genesis Evangelion for TV, the Death and Rebirth movie, and the End of Evangelion movie, as well as the Revolutionary Girl Utena movie, all as part of Key Animation. This is like the first time I'm going into the credits for one of these, so hope the info is at least right and I didn't just talk about some different Yasushi Muraki. Anyways, it properly opens up with someone whispering, "Sarge, look at the moon." It's funny, I never noticed how beautiful the moons are here. I don't think anybody noticed. Seems like it's some sort of memory or a last talk between 2 people. As the camera pans up, we see a heck of a lot of bodies and blood in this area with 2 soldiers in the moonlight. Yep, this is a goodbye scene from a sergeant to his last soldier. As a sort of dying wish, we get some inclination of backstory that the sergeant is a cold man who thinks of his soldiers as just soldiers, and not people, while the dying one asks him to be strong enough just to let himself be human, with a text screen afterwards saying, "Be human." Chilling. So let's just jump 3 years into the future on a completely different planet in a completely different conflict. In this conflict, though, it's a battle between the Covenant and the UNSC troops, with the UNSC defending some base, whilst Halo's beautiful soundtrack and great effects mix to create a very sad battlefield, as soldiers fight with everything they can. Moving over to these 2 soldiers, one of them is fighting off the enemy behind some sort of makeshift cover, and a probably higher-ranking one tells them to retreat since some protocol has just been activated. However, the shuttles try to leave and get shot down almost immediately. Kind of had it coming when they knew what's going on. The 2 soldiers leave to wait for evacuation somewhere else, while also sharing info that the Hades Corporation, a demolition squad, is staying behind to destroy a prototype weapon system. With the previous info in mind, it's clear that the protocol enacted was probably to destroy all weapons and info that could be useful to the enemy. As we cut over to most likely Hades Corp, it's 2 soldiers on the front line and not knowing where their sergeant is. The sergeant is named Ghost, the soldier from the flashback earlier in Prototype. We get more info about Ghost from these 2 guys about his previous assignment, the flashback from 3 years ago. Ghost led his group into a firefight and lost all of them. Despite this, he was put in Demolition Squad Command because he lost his humanity most likely. As the 2 wait for death, the prototype weapon is revealed. And it is glorious. Rewatching it, I got chills going through my body because it's so awesome. It's a heavier, more armored and armed suit of the normal Spartan armor. Think of like War Machine from the Iron Man series, and that's basically it. So who's piloting this awesome weapon system? Ghost, as he tells Hades Corp to retreat while he handles the rest of the Covenant. Ghost launches into action immediately, planting a bomb on the Wraith and just taking it out in a few moments. As he uses it, Ghost is getting told off by some higher command that he is breaking orders by using the suit instead of just destroying it, and he replies that he still is following orders. He already destroyed the data and is using the suit in a suicide mission to save his comrades. Ghost continues to fight despite being yelled at and reveals more of his backstory, how he became Ghost after losing everyone in the previous mission. Not only that, but the prototype suit can only be destroyed by a voice command, so Ghost has to pilot it in order to activate it. Plus, he can use it to take some Covenant down before blowing it up, so it's a win-win. With that, we get some great action scenes with this suit. However, he gets wounded while in the suit, but his platoon is able to escape. As the countdown hits 0, he sees his voice command, a direct callback to what a previous soldier had asked of him. That phrase is "be human." So, of course, they play her dying words again, so that way the audience can be reminded of it. And so he says it and takes everything out with him in what is basically a nuclear explosion. At least that's how the animation paints it as. The final words of this go to the higher authority, listing Ghost as MIA, missing in action, and his case for being court-martialed is to be redacted, as his last act restored a sense of honor in what he did. So how was it? Like Homecoming, it felt like a real Halo story, and also felt like it brought up some info about real soldiers. How, to be a soldier, one must almost kill all emotions and any weakness, which may lead to them losing their sense of humanity, as they need to do what they are told and complete the mission. That lack of humanity is what leads to Ghost's existence and story. He followed orders and lost a previous platoon in a firefight and didn't flinch at all during said firefight. Even as his last soldier was dying, one he may have had feelings for, as a frame of animation shows he laid her to rest with flowers in hand, he was still cold and emotionless, calling her a soldier and nothing more. But she didn't buy into that. She saw herself and everyone as humans, except for the sergeant. Emotions and feelings just go through Ghost instead of being felt by him. She probably loved him back, I can't really tell, which is why she probably wants him to be human again. Everyone else in the story showcases some sort of emotion as well. The two near the start of the current time, one has a sense of frustration, while the other has a feeling of honor and wants to defend. The two other members of Hades Corp have frustration as well as a sense of defeat. Ghost, however, doesn't show emotion up until the end. He's following orders by using the suit against the Covenant. This plan of his is a way not to redeem himself, but just to save his soldiers as to not repeat the incident 3 years in his past. The use of "be human" as a voice command is also great, as not only is it something that haunts him, but forces him to confront that past and move past it. His sacrifice allows him to be human one last time. Taking a step back from the content and looking at how this was done, it's also fantastic. The opening with just two people speaking as the camera pans up to a field of bodies is chilling, and what is being said can easily be deciphered as last words. Not only that, but the camera changing from black to blurry to clear is a great way to slowly reveal what everything looks like. The "be human" text with black background makes the final words much more haunting and stand out more. The way backstory is presented could have been better, though. It's mainly brought up by random soldiers, which is good. I doubt that they'd be having conversations like this as they are fighting. Maybe I can buy it that they were just frustrated with circumstances and venting, but it still doesn't feel all too believable. I probably expect this kind of stuff as small chit-chats between soldiers in a barracks or whispers during a briefing, rather than venting on a battlefield. The flashback to the beginning at the end also wasn't necessary, as I'm sure viewers easily could remember that scene just by the "be human" voice command. Speaking of the voice command, why would someone use "be human" as the code? Surprisingly, the Halo music works really great on a war zone, as it adds a layer of sadness and despair. The soldiers are going to die, they know they're going to die, but they continue to fight anyways. The music helps sort of paint their honor. Animation is almost always great when it comes from Japan or Korea, so that's just free points. The voice work could have been better, but it is not that bad. Like Homecoming, Prototype scores a 9 out of 10. It is beautiful. It is sad. It is a fantastic story of a man regaining humanity in an ironic way. I'm Wolf, and I'll see you all later. Are you crying? What? No. What are you doing here anyways? I finished preparing things for the escape pods. Also, since I had time, I did some other things. Other things? Like what? A bioscan on the planet below us. You know, so we know if we can breathe on it or not. Smart thinking. What are the results? Thankfully, it is breathable. Enough oxygen, nitrogen, water, and even plants below us. Almost like another Earth, but a bit bigger. Hopefully the gravity isn't too heavy for us, though. There's also a bunch of biomes just like Earth. So what, there's going to be a forest, jungle, ocean, mountains, and deserts? Yep. So we may end up being separated from one another in spite of the fact I packed the beacons. This just ain't our day. By the way, what do you think Wolf is up to? Who knows? We can only hope that he's alright before our inevitable crash.